It's probably behind the other one. There's two in there.
So, first thing on the agenda is to sign the warrants, which we're already in the process of, and abatements.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Yeah, I know she needs one or two, but you might as well sign it anyways.
Oh, there's that National Grid.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, we're gonna get it anyway.
What were the details for when flushing?
No, they did a dig on Columbus Ave, I know that, because we had a gate that we had an issue with there. It looked like a redundant gate.
Looks like North Elm Street, Manley Street, and,
Manly, yeah, we did, that's the one where I have to replace the steel service, I haven't.
can you have them send a new guy next time?
Yeah.
Someone's a little cheaper. Yeah, good luck with that.
It's all up to who you get, that's why when we do the flushing, I have, like, if they require, fire flow tests, I have them get the detail cop. Because they get it cheaper,
Yeah.
and I don't really, it's them that require it, so.
Tater and Howard. Yeah, this one was underneath, you might not have seen it.
Right, right there. Did you give the other ones to Kerry?
I will.
Oh, you're not done yet? Very warm. You haven't signed yet.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Good. So if you sit here, you'll be back out of the lines.
Okay.
Can you just sign in for me on that? Thank you.
So So, is he coming to see us?
Yes, he is, and so that you
So he must
see
be
what
under
they
new business?
see. Yes, he's the water labor hiring, so you could just skip down to that.
Okay. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes? The last meeting?
I had given Kerry some comments already and she changed them. My only other question I thought of after, did everybody that came to that last meeting sign in?
Mhm.
So we do have, I mean, I know we only put the people who spoke.
Yeah, I have it
But
right here
you
with
do
all that
have-
stuff. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
They all seem nice, just I think they were misinformed that they thought
Oh,
we were
yeah.
doing nothing. It's not. It's not a snap your fingers and fix it thing.
Well, they thought we were doing nothing, and if
Right.
you read just what's coming out, you can understand why they're worried.
Right.
There's no explanation, they just give numbers out.
Right.
And I actually, last Wednesday was working with the GIS lady, Deb, that is
Yeah.
here. And, I have a link, and she's working on a page that I'm gonna put up on our, like a PFAS page.
Yeah.
I'll send a link to you guys so you can look it over. She did
Yeah,
a
let
really
us
good
check,
job with it.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you wanna talk to the guy at DEP that you deal with, and just make sure he has no problem.
Well, it's not, I wasn't gonna post it right away, I just wanted you guys to see it.
Yeah, I went through it because she sent me the link and I kind of went through it. It doesn't- I'll
We
send
have
in
been
the.
telling everybody that we have been, that we're working on it.
Yeah,
But they
yes,
just
but-
seem to assume that we're not doing anything.
well, no, but it's also the stuff that got brought up the last time about how the math doesn't look like it worked, it's how DEP figures it about the
Right,
quart.
it's not, so if I get a 20.4, it's not over 20. It's two sig figs, so it's 20.
Right.
That's how they look at it.
Yeah, but if you don't know that when you go on the website, you see, plus
They put
and they
wrong
post the
numbers.
ones that are bad, they know are bad, but they don't tell them they know it's bad.
Right.
So they-
Even
that's
some of the
why.
ones that we have, they're J qualifies, which means they're estimated numbers in the results. Like,
But if you don't spend a half an hour reading through all the stuff. you
Right.
don't know.
even it's still a learning curve. I had to print out the sheet to learn how to read the actual results and to understand that the J qualifier meant that they didn't come up with a good number.
Well. All right, well, I think they were satisfied when we left.
Yeah, and also so I just pulled my June sample, so it's done by quarterly, so even if I pulled a 22 out of it, I'm not in violation.
Well, but let's.
We won't do that, I
Yeah.
hope, but
Let's hope we don't have to
it's
worry
just
about
a
that.
funky way that they do it. It's not a rolling, it's a quarterly, which seems weird. I would have thought they would have been rolling.
You go by the way they write the regulations. That's
Yeah,
all
I'm
you
not,
do.
I'm in constant contact with them. It's not,
All right, so, you wanna move down to, the water hire? Is that
Yes.
what you want?
yep.
Okay,
So we brought in, I gave you a copy of his resume. Now I gotta find it in my crap pile of stuff. Going through our candidates, this is the candidate that we brought forward, Brendan. Seems like a viable person. We're gonna let him speak and then see if we can't torture him and change his mind, hopefully, to stay with us.
okay. All right,
Well, I've been in the wastewater industry for 10 years now. I have my grade 4 wastewater treatment plant operator's license. I operate a grade 4 treatment plant in Hingham. It's a daily inspection along with monthly and quarterly sampling. I'm the chief operator there. Along with that, we perform various operations and maintenance services on smaller on-site systems, mostly grade 2 systems, residential systems. My primary focus beyond being an operator of these systems is repairs. whether it's the industrial control systems, timers, relays, motor contactors, pumps, any mechanical, electrical device. It's usually my wheelhouse. But yeah, I have a more formal background in automotive technology. I went to the South Shore Vocational Technical High School in Hanover, graduated in 2006 from automotive. In my senior year there, I attended the Ford AAA Auto Skills Program, where I represented the state of Massachusetts along with another of my fellow students. After high school, I attended the University of Northwestern Ohio, where I continued my education in automotive technology, along with diesel and agricultural and alternate fuels, kind of offsets to the same class structure. But that kind of points to my qualifications in terms of troubleshooting and repair of complex systems, whether they're in diesel trucks, or automobiles, or industrial control systems. So that's kind of a rundown of the past 10 years for me.
Okay. Have you got any experience at all in water?
Well, I'm a wastewater treatment operator.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
wastewater, yeah, I have 10 years experience.
Okay.
Absolutely. Drinking water, no.
You're
No.
willing to go out and get the licenses that you need? It's the same as sewer, but you just gotta...
Absolutely. You know, that was the same I did in my tenure, in my current employment. I didn't just start at a grade 4. I got my grade 2 and worked up to 3 and worked up to 4. I was operator in training for 4 or 5 years until I finally met the qualifications to be a full-fledged
What makes you want to get out of the sewer under it and get into the water under it?
Well, it's a lot cleaner. That's all I hear anyways. I have, in my continuing education, I have attended drinking water courses just for seeking out my additional CEUs to maintain my license. And I don't know, it's kind of branches off from what I've been doing. I'm mostly just looking for a change of scenery.
You've had a chance to take a look at what we have. How do you feel about what we showed you that day when we met over at the plant?
Pretty good. I guess, could you guys break down the pay steps? Like pay step 1 versus pay step 5?
So it's usually you're hired at a 1, and then you progress, each year you automatically step up until you get to the 5, and then that's the end of it. After that, it's just whatever the union negotiates for a cost of living adjustment.
Okay. Okay. So everyone starts at a step 1?
Most usually.
Most usually. Okay. What would be the exceptions?
I haven't seen one yet. I've actually queried the town on it and they can't answer me. Because it's a union position, so it gets into a bargaining contract that I can't open up.
Okay. Okay. So that was something I would have to talk to a union rep about, or?
No, you'd have to talk with the 3 gentlemen that are sitting here, because they're technically my boss, your boss.
Okay.
We don't work for the town. We're an enterprise funded system, so you actually work for the water department.
Okay. All right.
You have all the town benefits and stuff, but it's not. We're a separate entity entirely.
Okay. Okay. I've only ever been in the private sector. I've never been in the public sector, so I'm not super, I don't understand completely.
They're pretty much the same. I mean, if you go astray, then I'm paid to document and remove anybody that's not fit to be working here, which I hope I've done it once, but I didn't have to remove them, but it's not anything I want to do. I mean, we're a very small group, so we're easy to get along with. All of my guys, girls are really easy to get along with. Commissioners, you'll barely ever see them, except today. Other than that, for the most part, you might see them in passing, but that's about it.
Okay. Okay. And as far as like hours a week, like 40 hours.
So in the beginning, you'd just be basically 40 hours until you become trained enough to let you into the stations on your own. I believe when it breaks down with 4 people, it ends up being 13 weekends. You know, you come in and hopefully you come in and you just do your rounds, make sure refill all the day tanks, you know, which we showed you, all the other stations have the very same thing. But if something goes wrong, then you're there until it's fixed, and you call somebody in to help. If it's hazardous, then you call somebody in to help you, because work safely.
Absolutely. Okay.
And where he has a sewer license, does he have to work here for a year before he can go for his first grade 1?
No, he can go right away.
He
The
can go
grade
right
1,
away?
you can go right away.
Okay, good.
But they've changed the way you do it. Like I came and I went right after I think I got my 2 right away, and they made me go back and take the 1 to progress to the 3. Because they changed how I got through, but others didn't.
You have to take them in sequence?
Yep, you have to take them in sequence.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah,
if you
they
take,
say you have to have a 1, then you have to carry it so long,
well, it's,
and before you can take your 2, that's what it used to be.
no, it's changed. So if you
Changed
take your
again.
1 and pass it, like the very next day, as long as the results come out, because it's all electronic now, you're waiting for electronic things to happen, you could take the test the very next day for the 2. You can keep going, you won't become, like I'm a 4, it's the highest you can get, but I can't become a 4 and full. I'll be always OIT because we're a grade 2 facility, and I can go 1 step, so my 3s are all in full, but I will never achieve the 4 unless I work in a 3 plant somewhere, or a 4. But you can keep going right along and get them all back to back. I recommend anybody doing it, you just keep going, because the information all coincides, so you stay on the track. It's reading and memorization and trying to stay awake while you're rereading the same thing over and over again.
Oh yeah. Well, the wastewater exam, very familiar. And I've gone for I think I went for my 6, and I didn't quite get that one. But I think I started at 2, I got the 3, and then I did get the 4. And then I'm very familiar, because I believe the wastewater exam, I believe the grade 2 is only a 50 question test, whereas the higher grades, like I know the grade 4 is a 100 question test.
I just remember, I went for the 4, and I remember sitting there for 3 hours,
Yes.
being there most of the 3
Yeah,
hours.
there's a lot of questions on us.
And it's like ours it's 3 hours, it's a 100 question, 3-hour test, and they'll tell you you've got 3 minutes to each question, it's a paragraph long.
Oh,
They've changed how they wrote it, there are no easy ones. They're there, but you have to read a paragraph to find out it's an easy question.
okay.
So you can't dawdle on a question. I think the wastewater was it was more set up to succeed in passing the test when I went to the schooling for that, because they pointed you at books, you read the books, the questions really came out of the books, and drinking water, they picked this one little obscure word that they'll ask you a question on. They've gone more to treatment too, in the higher levels they'll ask you treatment questions, so you gotta know how to respond. When they say a treatment went awry, they'll ask you what you'd be doing to fix it.
Like a theory or critical thinking
Yeah.
type question. Yeah, I'm very used to those. Yeah, that's what I had all through college.
So you went for all this diesel, and you didn't become a diesel mechanic?
No, I graduated in 2010, and I was seeking that, but unfortunately I wasn't able to find employment fast enough, and I just so happened to find a job in wastewater.
Yep.
And it kind of took off from there. And now that the market is a little better, I'm looking again. So, and I've learned a lot. I like, I get a lot from, it's an important job, protecting our water supply, in the wastewater industry. So I get a lot from that. And I can carry a lot of those skills, because a lot of those skills that I got in diesel and automotive and stuff, you can apply those skills to so many other areas.
It's electronics and motors. It's a lot of electronics in vehicles now.
And that's exactly why I'm so oriented into troubleshooting and repair and what I do now. Even though I have a wastewater license and I'm an operator, I'm also the one that they go to fix things and to troubleshoot and to diagnose things. It's primarily what I do outside of operating. So I'm able to carry those skills into this field as well. It's very applicable all the way around. You get electrical, you get mechanical,
Yeah.
it applies almost everywhere I've found. Yeah. But yeah, no, like I said, I like the. It's an important job and it needs to be done, and that does a lot for me. So.
You got any questions?
No, I had a bunch of questions, we talked when we met over at the plant, so you guys
Oh,
go.
okay. You got any questions down front? So, what do you like, Wayne? Is this your choice?
This would be my final pick, the final answer.
This is your final answer? Okay. So when would you be able to start for us?
Well, I'd have to give my notice, so at least 2 weeks out. So whatever day that is. But beyond that, basically immediately.
Alright, so at that point, I'd ask you to speak with Linda, because there was a time when the Board of Selectmen had, they just meet, it's like a meet and greet, even though we don't work, the union contract says that the selectmen get to review our hires. I think when you speak with Linda, she can tell you the timetables on that.
Yeah, I was under the impression, Linda gave me the impression that it was going to be a lot more drawn out. Because I told her I obviously need to give my notice, and then she said it's going to be a lot longer than that.
They meet, I forget when, like ours meet the first and third, they meet on the same kind of schedule, it's just they do it on a Wednesday or something.
Okay.
So, and David I think David wants, the town manager wanted to just sit with you briefly too. And then he can probably just say it's okay, and that the selectmen would still meet you, but it's a foregone conclusion that they're not gonna find anything.
Okay. Okay.
You also have to pass a Cory check.
Yep.
And that she set that information.
Vaccinations or like because I had hepatitis for wastewater.
I was never required to get any, but
No.
no,
Okay.
I mean, like, you just wanna be safe. It's
Yeah.
Tetanus shot if you cut yourself on the
Yeah.
valve.
like, it's drinking water, but it's still, drinking water and wastewater are one and the same. We're just lucky enough, ours is groundwater, not under the direct influence of surface water, so it never sees the light of day, so it's as pure as you can get, except for the minerals that we're now pulling up, and the PFAS that people are putting in.
Well, let's not go there yet.
I was never a tree hugger, but understanding what we put on the ground goes full cycle and comes back up.
Absolutely does. Yep. And I found in our field, it's easier to get it from getting there in the first place than it is to try to remove it retroactively.
Yeah.
So,
Now, you did ask one question about the steps.
yes.
Is there an issue with the starting, if it starts at step one, like Wayne is saying? You're actually the first hire I've been involved in since
So
I
I
got
don't
on the
know.
board. So-
Linda, I know I'm overripe. I don't know what Linda said the starting pay was, but it's 51,000 a year, or 24.48.
Mm-hmm. An hour. Yep.
All right, I wasn't, because when I was talking to her today, she had some lower number. I'm like, that's way off.
Okay. I asked her briefly about it after I left you guys that
Yeah.
day, and she said that was questions for you. So,
All right,
She
so
just
she doesn't know what we had talked about or not.
okay.
And there are stipends on top of that.
Right, and as you acquire the licenses, then additional money begins to kick in.
Yeah, like I mean, I used to while I was in high school, I worked at Cohasset Country Club.
Yeah.
I did small engine repair. That's literally what I did there. So I'm not sure. Is that like?
So you take the class at, I think it's only offered now at the Hanover Folk School.
Very familiar with that place.
Yep, so I think they still offer a small engine repair class. You take the class, you turn in the certificate, and then you're all set from there on out.
Sounds
And,
pretty.
yeah, we do a lot of we do our own small engine repair. We don't, the town mechanic does the bigger stuff.
He's doing the trucks and the,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right.
The biggest money in there is for the water licenses. If you can get your water licenses, and, you know, start going up, they add up.
Okay.
And truly, once you start studying, you just keep going, and it's,
That's the T1, T2, T3. That's
Yeah,
what you were talking
T4.
about. Okay.
Yep.
and you get paid for each side, so there's
And
T
distribution
and
and
there's
air
D.
treatment.
Oh, okay.
'Cause we have distribution and air treatment, then you add the two of those together.
And that's annual, right? Those figures you have there.
Yeah, they
Okay.
pay it biannual, so they split it in two, so it's paid, they make a payment in January and July.
Okay. And now, in terms of like training, like I know, I think we talked about class.
So I'll watch for the classes, and then I'll let you know when like they offer like a T1 and a D1, but it's easier just to take the twos right out of the gate, because it'll teach you whatever you're gonna learn out of the one, and then you're taking one class instead of multiple classes.
Yeah, and I found like in my wastewater, going for my wastewater license, you take the class and you schedule the test like literally the next day or the day after, as soon as you possibly can.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna do a lot of reading on your own. It's, you know, the good sized books, there's a couple of them, and then as long as you read them cover to cover and you pay attention, the class will teach you the regulations, the math you're gonna do on your, you know, just stay on it. There's 15 math questions, there's 15 regulation questions. That's 30 questions out of 100 right there.
Yeah, those are supposed to be the gimmies, yeah.
Yeah.
You've probably done most of that, the specific types of math anyway on the
Right.
wastewater
Yeah.
already, it's just tweaked for water.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
pass the
Pounds.
waste-
And we
Formula.
reimburse, and we reimburse for the cost of the class
Okay,
also, it's not like that's a expense, you might have to put the money up. He
depends
puts the
upon
money
how I
up
schedule
front
them.
and put it in, and then we reimburse, right? We don't pay,
Sometimes, if I can do it, then it'll just be paid out of our department
okay.
right up front, but you have to pass it. And if you don't pass the class, they won't give you the number to take the test.
you have to pass the class.
You have to, so the classes they're a pass-fail class now. So it's just not a matter of showing up, and they give you little exams and quizzes along the way, because they're trying to prep you to pass the water license exam. So they've tried to make it better. The way the questions are formulated it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, they try to get you in the wording sometimes.
So like they instituted the exams without any forethought to classes on how to pass the exam. So now they're playing catch up, teaching people how to pass the exam that they instituted. They did it backwards.
Now, who teaches the class? Is it generally guys that have been in the field or guys
Yeah,
from
the
DEP?
I mean, we'll recommend where you go, and the guys, there are multiple, there's Mass Water Works, there's New England Water Works, we have ones that we know are better than the other.
Okay. No, I enjoy class. Like I said, I did 4 years in college. I mean, that's
Right.
You know. Yeah. No, absolutely. I would want to go for if I have to do it in succession, I would skip right to the 2. But if I have to do it in rapid succession, I'd probably do T1, D1 almost
Yeah.
immediately,
Right.
as long as I can, and then right up to the grade 2 as well. Okay. All right. Well, in terms of hourly salary, that is a decent amount less than what I'm making right now. But is there any way that I could get more OT to kind of make up for that?
So there is, like I said, there's 13, they get 4 hours, so it's 13/8 if you include the Saturday and the Sunday, so there's 13/8. I know currently my guys are getting a little over $11,000 a year in overtime each,
Okay.
because there's the flushing that happens from September through October. So that adds up quite a bit of overtime right there.
Mm. Yeah, I figured because you had told me the 13 weeks, so it's like
Yeah.
2.5 hours a week across the whole year.
Yeah,
So if I could get, at least, a little bit more overtime, because you say that I'm not going to be doing those 13 hours starting right out.
yeah, we can't,
13
yeah,
hours.
right away you won't. I mean, we're in June now, but it won't be long before in September.
What about snow plowing, Wayne?
And then you can, if you get your, you'll be able to snow plow. It's hard money to come by, but all of our guys, if they have trucks, they'll go out and snow plow during all of the storms. I mean, we haven't had bad storms lately, but if you have a couple of good storms back to back, you can make a lot of money. There's a stipend paid by the town there too. I believe it's at $700. I don't know if they were talking about increasing it, and I don't know if they did. But if you show up for almost all, I think you're allowed to miss one. You get the $700 stipend automatically.
Okay, and you're coming with your own equipment? You're bringing your
No,
own-
the town supplies.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, no, you don't. No.
okay. Okay.
Oh, but you'd have to get.
That's an extra 700 just for showing up.
Yeah, no, that's, absolutely.
And I have work that we can't do during the daytime, but I don't have people qualified to do the work, so if I see somebody who can do stuff, then I have things that can be done.
Well, I guess that would be kind of my point, like if there's things that you need
Right.
somebody with expertise to look at, like I said, I'll get that, I could get that small engine repair pretty quickly.
Right.
And I could spend more time on small engine, any stuff like that that you need done and are looking for somebody to do, I
Yeah.
could do. So, and I could use, like I said, I could use the overtime. If I'm starting at step one, I would need the overtime.
Yeah.
I would
I
need-
can't, we're on camera, so I'm not gonna say much more, but
And like you said, there will be the flushing and just in general with some of the jobs going on, there's overtime that's gonna
Right.
come up.
You get quite a bit of overtime anyways.
yeah, like I said, they get about 11,000 each.
You know. Yeah, there is quite a bit of overtime.
That's not including whatever they get out of the town side of it when they do snow plowing.
And then it's annual, the steps increase automatically, right?
Right.
Yeah, once you start doing the stations and you start rotating, you'll be getting every,
It'd be every
once a
fourth-
month, you'd
Yeah.
be getting, and it usually falls, Saturday is on one pay week, and then
Right.
Sunday is on the next one, so you ended up with 2 weeks out of a month, you're getting an extra 3 hours or 4 hours for overtime.
It's 4 hours, so it'd be 4 hours.
4 hours
on either side
for
of
2
it.
weeks of the month. Once you start, the person has to take care of the pumping stations, does it Saturday and Sunday. You get paid for Saturday and 1 week's check for 4 hours of overtime. The next week's paycheck will have Sundays on it for the next time he gets paid, so you end up with half of the month, you're getting 4 hours overtime each week. And that's all the time, because that's rotating, everybody takes a weekend that they do the pump
And
stations.
if there's something extra that needs to get done, you get more hours.
Yeah, we get calls, so you'll be trained right away on how to locate services and stuff like that. To do markouts, if we get a dig safe call out.
Yeah, you never know when those are gonna come in, but there's,
No, they
you
come-
get it, they always, there's always something. Somebody calls, says the meter's leaking in the cellar, or they got a water spurting out of the front lawn or something, they just saw it when they're mowing the lawn, so you get called out to go check it. What do you get, 4 hours for that now?
Yeah, they get 4 hours for that too.
He's like a police detail. 4 hour minimum.
Yeah.
Oh, did I just say that on camera?
Well, you got pulled over for speeding on the way out. Yeah, so the job ranges from 51 to 60,000 a year, once you get to the top step.
Okay.
And then, once you add in the license stipends,
Yeah, like the top step is fine for me. I'm not, and I wouldn't be,
yeah,
I'm not looking for the top step, like, but, if 51 is a little light, like I said, I'd be taking a pretty decent pay cut. But I'm willing, like I said, I'm willing to make up for that in overtime if I can. And if you guys think that, my qualifications, are worth more than $24.48 an hour,
that I'd probably have to discuss with them.
That's fine.
Yeah, we'd have to discuss that separately
Yeah.
anyway.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
And then it's we can all write, it's a matter of getting a feel for you to see how you. I mean, I can talk a good game too, and I'm not saying you are anyway, we just have to get a feel for you.
So he's gotta go over there and meet with the selectmen. I don't see that the selectmen are gonna have a big interview with him.
No, that's just a meet and greet, you'll just
Yeah,
say,
it's
you know,
not-
graduated from this, and it's just this, they see the face, it's not, there's no hang up there, and David, you'll meet with David, and there's no hang up there either, it's just see the face, he's the town manager, even though we're a separate entity entirely, they still like to feel like, except when it comes to getting new vehicles.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I have no issues with that.
Alright,
And the only other thing is I gave you a copy of that contract, that's just for you to look over, see if you have an issue with it. Like I said, it's just, it gets adjusted as the courses get aligned or offered. They're not always, like you'll go and they'll be offered, and then suddenly they skip, and then they don't offer them, it's like, no, it's not a, although there are timelines, it's just to put them there, but it's adjusted too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would be willing to sign up the first course that's available, especially for the T1, D1.
Right.
Absolutely.
where do you live? How far away?
Abington.
Oh.
It's about 20 minutes
Easy enough.
drive here. Yeah. Right off Route 18. One road here almost.
They're lucky.
Yeah, and hopefully you live on this side of where they're working. That road was miserable for a long time.
Oh,
Yeah.
it still is. Yeah.
Is it where you are?
Well,
They-
further
they
north,
were
past the
doing-
fire station.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still working on that bridge in Weymouth. Yeah, it's like 139 in Marshfield all over again.
Okay.
It'll be better once it's done.
Then we'll pick
It's
on
only
something
been,
else.
what, 10 years?
Yeah,
They've been working on that bridge?
yeah. They even said 10 years. I think. Well, they might have said 7. Yeah, but I mean, what are they? 3, 4 years into it now, at least.
At least.
Yeah. So yeah, probably 10.
Alright. I don't have any other questions for him.
No,
Um,
I'm all set.
how about you, Tom?
Cool.
Okay. I guess we're,
You'd have to take a vote, I guess.
I say we vote tonight, or do we?
No, you'd vote tonight.
we vote tonight to hire him. What
Yeah.
about,
The start date's to be determined, because he's gotta give his notice,
He's gotta work through,
and then just
gonna want.
speak with Linda to see how, first you'd wanna get through the Cory, you'd know what your background is better than we would. And then,
Because she handles the Cory check and
yeah,
through there.
so, as soon as she'll tell you to come down and fill out the paperwork, and then they run it.
Okay. Yeah, I could set that up with her.
Yep.
Kind of direct that.
Yeah, she'll reach out to you if I speak to her, tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem.
Alright, so I'll make a motion to offer the position to Brendan Barrelot or Barrelot?
Barrel lot.
Barrelot,
Mm-hmm.
subject to passing the Cory requirement, and going through the process with the town. At a start date to be determined.
I'll second it.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Was that easy?
Yeah, not bad. All right. So I'll follow up with Linda.
Yep, she'll reach out to you. I'll send her an email probably tonight before I leave.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming in.
Alright,
Have a good night.
You too.
Maybe.
yep, Okay, under the old business, stations 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Alright, so Tyler and Howard did get back to us with, several options here. One of them is part of that, one of them is the bank, so the other two have to do with CS Street and Manley Street. So I did meet with James, and currently, cause only a few towns are in it, you gotta remember, once all the towns start their quarterly testing in October, they'll be asking whatever they want to get engineering services for anybody. Cause I don't think a lot of the towns won't pass PFAS. So they've given us the thing for, Manley Street. I did have the water quality at Manley Street tested. I'm gonna look for that little piece of paper.
Is that the one that, the secondary contaminant one?
Yeah, so that would be for the total, the iron and the manganese. So the iron I had each source tested, but they're pretty much the same. The iron coming up out of the ground is 5.43.
Okay, that's not what's on this one.
Yeah, you won't see that, cause
Oh,
he didn't.
alright.
I'm just telling you, cause they needed to know what the plant was treating for.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was ever designed to treat iron that high. And manganese coming up is 1.3. So there's a lot of iron in that water. So I did send them that results I haven't sent them the,
What station is this?
That's my,
so which one are you looking at?
You gave us 1 and 2, station 1 and 2.
yeah, the numbers
No, you
just
should have
gave
all
us,
three.
man.
There are 3 there, I hope.
No, just one sheet.
Oh, I got one.
One sheet.
You sure?
Yeah,
I copied everything.
one sheet, and all it has is manganese at 2.21
Yeah, that's
and
what I,
0.267, which is station 1, station 2, but I don't know if that's a mix.
I swore I copied everything.
Unless it's stuck stapled in all the other things.
That's all we got right there.
No, these.
Oh, these?
It's these, yeah, not the secondary contaminant report.
Which,
We thought we were talking about Tara and Howard. I'm not even sure I have the secondary contaminant report. That's something even
So
different.
which one are you at, March or June?
Alright, so we'd be on we'll start with the Manly one.
March or June?
So it's June
June.
9 at the top.
yep,
what are you looking at? Oh, yeah.
So on the Tanner and Howard, you should have 3 of them. Yeah, under that, yep, there are 3. There's one for Sea Street, there's one for Manly, and then there's one for the tank water aging out.
I don't see one for this one.
Is it stuck together?
I didn't see the tank.
Alright, I think I copied that.
No, I got,
Okay.
okay,
There it is. You guys are testing me.
You tested me too, I'm like,
I'm like, I knew I had copied these things.
you passed the test. We failed, but you passed.
So on the June 9 one, that would be the Manly Street one.
Yep.
You did say that they were gonna apply for the grant, they'd fill out the grant applications and submit them, because there's a round of grants coming about. He did say that usually when they're handing out the grant money, they wanna see that it's expended in the fiscal year that they're handing it out, it goes better.
Where they have this number 2, talking about, that item 2 under phase 1.
Yeah.
And if they're not thinking of that, I would like to see them look at putting GAC on what we have, just on a portion of it.
Adding it on top of it?
In other words, exactly what you take our filtered water out,
Yeah.
run a side stream through the GAC and put it back in. Because we don't have to treat all the water. We only have to treat a portion of the water to get back
To get it down
to
lower.
Because if we're, and these aren't real numbers, if it's over, like if we were at 22 You don't have to treat the full station to get down below, you just have to treat enough so that the mix goes out back down below.
Yeah, no, I understand what
So
you're
I'd
saying.
like to make sure that they're looking at that in addition to changing out, you know, the
Yeah.
type of green sand and stuff, because if that doesn't work, and they still need the you know, something on the end, and if they're setting up, you know, filter columns, you know, we might be able to repipe something with some carrier water pump right through that
Well, we
existing
have an
tank.
extra filter that's never
Yeah.
been
If you,
sitting
if you
here.
can take that, fill that thing up with carbon and run 15% of the plant flow through it, that kind of thing might keep us going for a long time.
You're talking about Manley Street.
Manley Street, yeah, it's the one we're on first.
All right, I thought you said
Yeah.
6.
So I mean, if we can, and then, you know, the long-term stuff, I mean, we wouldn't be doing that till after we do, know what's going on with phase one anyway, I think.
Right. Yeah,
So if they'd just make sure that we cover that,
yeah, I'll ask them.
then I'd be good with, pretty much good with the rest of what they have there.
Okay. Yeah, cause I did ask them about the sticking to the meteor, and they said it doesn't, they haven't seen any instances of that, but I know I read a couple of abstracts where they said it was, so I don't, you know.
No, that's the kind of, it doesn't really make sense why it'd go up and then, but,
Yeah,
I mean, but again, if it is, then we take what comes off the filter,
right.
and wherever it's coming from, we take it out.
Yeah, and that's like, when you ask about what has PFAS in it, they have no idea. They were recommending when you're sampling, don't use any plastics, don't use anything that has Teflon tape on it. They were, because there's nothing labeled with PFAS or Gen X or anything.
That's why I was wondering if the day tanks could be leaching stuff in, if there's something in the chemical feed pump heads.
Right.
None of that stuff was based on
Right, this is all
any
new.
of that. Actually, is there a sample tap? Oh, we don't be doing with extra samples if we don't have to, but is there a sample tap that we could take something that's like the filtered water before we add any additional, you know, the final chemicals?
So most of the chemicals going in. The only thing we do is sequester it on the way out.
All right, so we're not adding like additional disinfectant or anything?
No, not
That-
currently,
That all
because-
goes in, all right, then
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
The pumps are oversized, so I can't slow it, I can't stall it enough to.
Yeah.
Other than that, I get a call from Mrs. Raleigh.
So basically, it's 49,800, not
It's
There's another 19,000 on the back.
right,
Yeah, that's to look at the other section long-term, but if this other stuff works, I mean, we don't necessarily have to do that phase two right away. If they come up with something that looks like it'd treat it,
yeah.
we don't really need to look at going to ion exchange.
The only thing I heard, the DEP guy said about going through the GAC was, it slows down your flow. He mentioned that it decreases your flow. I
Well,
don't know
if you were running everything through it, you'd have a little more head loss, because you
Yeah.
got an extra filter. But if all we're doing is boosting a little side stream through it,
Yeah,
it's not gonna change the flow at all, because you'd have to add a pump
right,
to make it get through the filter and get back in.
yeah,
All the rest of that water is not seeing it's not gonna slow anything down.
right, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that sounds-
treating the whole thing would be a problem,
Yeah,
but I think if something like that would work, we should be in good shape.
alright, yep, no, I wrote it down and I'll ask them.
Is DEP gonna be satisfied with taking out, just staying under the number, or they gonna want to try to get it all
Well,
No,
they allow you to blend,
Right,
right?
yeah, no, they allow you to blend, but they wanna see you under 10. Other than that, they're,
out? So we'd have to try to blend it, under 10.
Yeah, but that's, if they figure out what it'll take out in the carbon, it's just a matter of figuring out how much water has to.
Has to go through.
And I think when I looked at the test results from before, most of ours are those long chain,
yeah,
and that's what the carbon's supposed to do the best job of taking out.
Oh, yeah.
So it might, it's worth looking at in that first phase to make
Yeah.
sure, to see what's gonna happen. And they're telling us that if they do the resin, they're gonna look at carbon anyway,
Right.
so we might as well look at the carbon now.
Right.
Especially
Okay.
use that tank.
So now Sayre Street's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Are the grants they're talking about PFAS only, or would there be grant money available for the Sayre Street one too?
So I don't know what's coming up out of, this big infrastructure thing that they're, but I think right now it's just PFAS.
I don't know, it's all different stuff to me, but.
Yeah, and this Sayre Street one is just to get DEP to approve the pilot test.
Right.
And then we need a separate contract with them to do the actual
Yeah.
piloting.
Yeah, you can't, they don't really allow you to do much of anything without.
Yeah.
I mean, right now our iron and manganese levels, they're up, so it's not,
It's Sayre's down here.
yeah. So we're, like, on Fridays, that's what we do routine flushing now in the areas.
No, I mean, that's something we kinda have to
Yep.
get it going, so we might as
Right.
well.
All right, so what do you, Sayre Street iron and manganese pilot proposal? That, manganese level on this test here for station number 1,
Yeah, station 1 and 2.
yeah, two is point 26. Station number 1 is 2.2. That just,
It's been testing regularly, it's,
at that?
yeah, it's not, and the SML, it's not, it doesn't have an MCL, just as a secondary, it's 0.05.
Yes, so even on station 2, we're over it.
Way over.
Way over.
Geez, I never saw that iron that high in that.
Well, that's what I told you, what Manly is, the iron is 5 point something, 5.41.
Where, Manly?
Yeah, coming up out of the ground raw. The total iron is 5.41 and the manganese is 1.3. But we're treating that. That might be why we keep losing our charge every now and then. It's treating a lot more than it ever did, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was designed around 3 total.
So we're pushing more through, so it's using up the green sand too.
Yeah, well, it's used up the permanganate charge, yeah, faster.
So we're drawing in more iron and manganese on all our wells, the older they get.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, they say that does happen. That could be
Oh,
expected.
you're pulling it over time.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So that tells you one thing, when you build a pump, build a treatment plant, you're gonna have to build it big enough. Because if it's continually getting worse, you don't wanna build a pumping station, a treatment building for today's iron.
Right.
You gotta anticipate what it's gonna be 10 years from now.
Yeah, which is a guess.
So that you can expand it without huge expenses of, it's make it easier to expand it, you know what I mean, when you're building the building.
I just have to make a few years.
Huh?
I just have to make a few years. This is bad enough with the PFAS stuff.
Oh, come on, keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
So they'll need to come back to us with actual contract if we decide.
Yep, if you vote, then I'll get them to thing. I'll ask about modifying the other one, about the side stream.
Yeah, I'd like to see that other one with at least check if we could, and, remind them, we've got that big tank sitting right there that we could
Right.
put
Yeah.
something in. And I don't, with DEP, as long as we checked it, it's not like we're adding a new chemical.
Right.
Might be able to get an approval on that quicker,
Quick, yeah,
because it's just, we're taking more out, we're not adding anything different, we wouldn't even be changing the green sand out for that
right,
necessarily.
yeah,
So we, just thinking if it ever did hit the fans, it'd be the fastest way we might be able to get something on.
right.
Yeah, just see if they will incorporate it. Do you wanna?
Yeah. Even if they, I mean, I don't think.
I'll see if I can get them to modify it and send
Yeah.
it back out quickly, so that you can look at it prior to.
And you just vote on it though.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea, too. How about you, Tom?
What's that?
The, having the, what he was talking about, having them look at using the tank and.
Yeah,
Just
Makes sense.
We own the tank.
See if they'll,
Yeah, if we got it there, it's
we
not
already
being
got
used
the
for
tanks
anything.
in there, put
No.
carbon
What was
in
it originally intended for?
So it was future plan expansion, if the plant didn't make it, or to,
Or it's-
well, what's
Or-
happened,
or
is
if we
the
had-
iron levels rose, so that it could handle it. The plant was designed around 500 gallons a minute, and we're only running, we're under 400.
So a little
But
bit
the
extra
iron's not.
iron, it still should kind of even out.
Right.
And it's not like we're gonna get approval for another well over there anytime,
No, probably not.
so.
Makes sense.
So yeah, if they can change that,
Alright,
So this proposal here for the next one, for Sear Street, iron and manganese pilot.
yeah,
What are they looking to do Sear Street, Norman Avenue, and everything together?
that's what we had told them, that we wanna combine everything together.
Well, but this doesn't mention Norman Ave.
Alright, so I can have them modify that.
Because if we got problems at both places, there's no sense of building two treatment,
yeah, we want one plant
one
located.
plant for two pumping
All of it.
stations. Do a pilot on both of them at the same time so that they can incorporate their design or their proposal to what we're gonna need off of
Yeah.
the amount of iron and manganese that's at both stations, and they're both different, they're both different levels, so.
Right,
it's
So-
gotta be-
Manley was designed for what, you said 500 gallons a day?
yeah,
What would they have, what would this one be designed?
500 gallons a minute.
I mean, 500 gallons a minute.
So this one, well, it depends,
This
I
would
mean,
be
if you went
double
full
that, wouldn't
bore, you'd be more than double that. Be
More
around
than,
1,200 gallons a minute, if you had everything running at once and you could get it out without
which is what you
blowing
designed,
dirt everywhere.
which is what you designed for, right?
Right, we wanna design for full flow, cause if Manley Street goes down and we need the capacity, you gotta turn it on.
Hmm.
Which is a big range, because you're talking about sizing pumps, chem pumps to be able to ramp up.
Boy, that's quite a plant they're building down in Bridgewater, huh?
I have not seen it, somehow I gotta
It's
get
right
down
next to my
there.
house. It's
Is
right
it?
next to the current treatment plant, yeah.
I don't know where anybody's stuff is except my own.
That's surprising, two of the
have
current
time
one
to look
down,
at
and
any
the other
of
one's
those.
not done yet.
what's Bridgewater building?
That's an iron removal plant.
Iron removal?
Yeah. Manganese. I'm hoping that they're incorporating PFAS because
Well, I would assume they were.
if they are not, then
Yeah.
they made a big
they
mistake.
gotta at least have the ability to add something on.
But I don't think Jonas has even tested for PFAS yet.
They're underneath the size, they don't have to do it till October.
Yeah.
That's not far away.
No, it's not.
No, we've had a bit of headaches over it, but I'm
And they're
glad we
building a
did it.
plant, and they're building, in the middle of building it right now.
Right.
Alright, so for Sear Street, they just.
So
need to
what's
add-
this next proposal that they made us?
So the other one is the Walnut Street tank. So you'd ask them to come back with,
Yeah, what did they ask for the first time? Remember what the number was?
yeah, I'd have, if I look through, I could probably find it. I'm thinking this is less.
Well, I'm just trying to remember how much the original one is, I think it has come down. Cause they were talking about doing a fair amount of other stuff here.
Right.
Did you ever get your copy of the distribution system? Of the, you know, the flows?
What do you mean?
The one that they built us, the,
Oh,
yeah, the hydraulic one.
Yeah.
Did you, do we actually have a copy here?
yes.
Okay. Because, no, it's so that if we hired another engineer, they could use it.
Yeah.
So this Walnut Street tank thing, we should be sending this bill to the original engineer.
Yeah.
I'll have them figure, I mean, they should be answering some questions on this.
I think our warranty's out.
Could probably say put an altitude valve down at the other
Yeah.
tanks.
Yeah, like the overflow thing that he was gonna do, for the air gap. You had to see that one.
Yeah, can you check and see what the other one is? It's- What they had asked for before? And that, this number doesn't seem unreasonable.
I think ours, I actually filed it in this work. So estimating, so the beginning. So one came back at 16.1, that's exactly the same number. And this one came back, so this one had 3, so this is the original one. It had 3 tasks in it, so it was 11,003 for one task, 12,600 for another task, and 14,200 for another task. So combined, it's 30,
Yeah, it was over 30 grand.
37.
Can I see that?
Yep.
I don't remember we'll see what the difference, what they changed in it.
Then they came back in March. And it has the exact same, it almost looks like the exact same proposal. Oh, it is. I must have put a copy in there. I was too efficient.
Okay, so yeah, the 14, that third task, this is basically the 2 tasks.
Yeah.
For the first 2 tasks that we had asked them to do, not dealing with stuff with the Sears Street wells. And that's about half of what they were, a little more than half of what they were asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with going with that if we, let me make sure I give you the right one back.
Yeah. I was amazed that I actually defined it.
So we don't have to vote on any of that, right?
No, but we should just ask them to get a contract to us so we can get it going.
Okay.
And I said, I, unless you have any issues, I don't have any problem
I
with
don't have
it.
any issues, how about you, Tom?
No, you gotta do
I think they responded to,
Okay, so,
they cut the number for the scope.
it. Oh, they
by
did?
pretty, yeah, we're paying 16 for what was around 26, 27
Yeah.
worth of work.
And
okay,
what
so,
work got cut out?
Well, the thing they cut out was a whole set, that was like another 14,000 on top. So it's a little more than half for the same scope. The numbers just seemed high when they sent that in the first time. So they cut out a bunch of the stuff that I think we said they should have probably already had enough information, they didn't need to spend the time, and they took that out. I think the 16 grand, I think, is fair for what they done in there.
I'm fine with that.
okay, so, I hear a motion to ask for a contract from them?
Yeah, we'll ask for a contract as is for the Walnut Street tank, and then we're getting changes back on the other 2.
Also, we're just doing the Walnut Street tank
Yeah, well, the other 2, they gotta come back.
Well, I'm asking them to make we're gonna ask them to make changes and add in the different things, then I'll see if I
On
can.
Manly, based on that tank.
Yeah, and I'll see if I can get them to do it quickly so that I can get it to you before a meeting, and then I can ask them to just send me a
Send the
contract.
contract.
Right,
And yeah, because on Sear Street too, like Rick said, we want that to cover Sear Street and Norman Avenue wells for the Sear Street one.
Right.
And they didn't mention to put them both together,
Oh, the
but
only
that's, they
The only
only
one
mentioned
Sear and
Sear.
Norman Ave.
Yeah, it should be
yeah.
both.
So all 5 wells.
So they gotta change that, and they gotta change the one for Manly Street.
Okay.
So
So
you're
I'll
only
make-
taking a motion on one contract? The,
Yeah, the Walnut Street tank one.
So I'll make a motion on the proposal from Tater and Howard for engineering services for the tank on Walnut Street, that they get us a contract
I'll
based on
second,
this proposal.
yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Actually, based on the proposal dated March 2nd, is that right? That's the most current?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it threw me off when I saw it.
So Kerry, they've got this
I see that, yep.
dated March 2nd, 21.
The other one wasn't dated March 2nd too, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Just
No, I think it was December,
Yeah, the one?
it was December 28th.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright. Man, I can't believe it. We got that much iron and manganese now. Okay, so update on replacement well?
So they're done with the flow test. I haven't actually heard, have they even talked about it?
How'd the flow test come out, Wayne?
That I didn't hear from them because they did it like round the clock, and then I never heard. The only thing I heard was when the guy dropped his phone down and beside the thing, and
So we still don't know what it's producing?
no, and I haven't heard. That's why I'm.
Hope there's no-
Yeah, that memo about meeting with James said they were still waiting for the results.
Right. So yeah, I haven't heard anything on that, but I know that they finished the flow test. Off of that, key to everything else, so hopefully they get moving a little faster.
How about an update on the new water source?
So we actually allocated, I looked, there is 80,000, so I can push them on that one if you want. And tell them that we wanna continue forward with what, Patrick had been doing.
Yeah. We're gonna need water because there's a lot of building going on.
Before they go too far spending money on that though, should we have them come in and go over with
Yeah,
the stuff that we already had that Patrick had done, so we know they're not reinventing.
Not doing it
Yeah.
twice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't wanna pay for it twice.
Is it-
I can ask them to come in.
Yeah, cause it was, I mean, the way it was going, there weren't a lot of options for us to
Right,
be
well,
able to take,
I think,
get water.
He was at the point trying to find where the state was gonna allow us to even
Yeah,
drill.
I think that was the problem, the state wasn't gonna allow us to up our permit, was the problem, last I knew.
Well, you won't be able to increase the amount where we can withdraw, but you can,
We can establish it, let it sit there?
yeah, or you can't go above, say it was 80.
You just take less out of the other
You
wells.
can't go above that,
and
no
you
matter
use
what,
that
even
one.
if you add another source.
Okay.
You just can't go beyond your cap. You can have multiple sites like the Cape has, they have tons of wells, it's just, they all combine for their general flow, which you can't exceed.
yeah, so maybe we have them come in and go over where exactly it stands, what the next step would be.
Yeah.
Cause if it looks like we're gonna need to come up with extra money, we might wanna shift some of that money over towards either the PFAS stuff or something else too, if it doesn't look too. But we just don't wanna have them burn the money reinventing the wheel.
Right.
No.
It's already been done.
Yeah.
No, we wanna get something done for the money we're
Yeah.
spending. Go.
First thing is we should test for PFAS.
Should we
Real
If
on,
we're gonna have a new source, test for, see how bad it is with PFAS.
yeah, add that into the testing, because that's not part of the regular well test.
No, it might be now, but it wasn't, you know, prior to.
Yeah, because that, that could be a killer.
Yeah, you don't wanna find it's,
Find it
Take a
after,
look.
after the fact.
definitely throw that in there.
How about the asset management?
So they requested information, we've sent it back to them, so now it's up to them to get their stuff done. They're at the rate study part of it.
How's that generator coming?
The part is in, they're supposed to come Thursday to install it.
Oh, good. Was it something to do with the distributor?
Yeah.
And the Walnut Street tank?
That's in, they have to go back, dig down, somehow they have a leak in what they did, so they have to figure out, they know where it's at, so they just have to dig down and see if the gasket got bunged up, is it tightened up. But other than that,
Where they made the tap for the hydrant line.
yeah.
So we don't know what that well's producing, huh? Any idea?
No, no,
What's that? What line is this?
Yeah, replacement well.
the replacement well,
What about it?
that I don't know what it will produce.
Oh, what it will produce.
Well, it's been a week since you talked to James, maybe give him a
Yeah,
shout.
he might,
But you gotta call them anyway about the contracts, just give them a shout and see.
How did they feel about it, Wayne, once they got it?
the guy that they sent from Tyler and Howard, I only saw him once briefly, so, I mean, the guys that do it, they just pump, they don't record it data.
Did they feel good about it, or? Couldn't
Seemed to be.
tell without pumping it.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
water was coming out.
yeah. They had issues trying to get it away from, so that it wasn't, as they were pumping, wasn't going right back in.
So that hasn't been tested for PFAS either yet.
No, but Station 4 was, so
And that
it was
fine.
on the lower end.
Should-
Yeah, everything down here was running pretty,
Right.
we're under 10 down here.
Yeah.
With it all.
Good.
I noticed, up on River Street, you got a hydrant, they got painted.
There's a new one,
I think I saw it by Clint Howard's, the caps are painted green. There isn't a 12-inch main up there.
alright, I'll have them paint them.
I'm assuming that should be red or it should be orange, probably orange. I'm thinking the 6, but I'm not sure. Might be even a 4. Look freshly painted, look nice.
Was it a new hydrant maybe, just, that was the,
Yeah, no, they haven't painted anything, not this year.
Who's painting them?
Well, we do when we do, but we haven't, I know we haven't, because we haven't had time.
I was just driving up Riverside, look. Green caps.
those
Wow,
things,
must wait for a 12-inch main in here.
that stuff
Yeah.
just jumps right out at you, doesn't it?
It does, it's,
You've been looking at it for so many years.
soon as I see it, I know that's not right. All right, anything else? Anything
No.
that we can legally bring up that you want?
Next meeting is gonna be actually on Tuesday, July 6th, because Friday is, Monday is the holiday observance. It was voted on like when I submitted all the meetings for this year.
Okay.
So it's the 6th.
Which is a Tuesday.
40B is pulling his building permits already.
The what?
The 40B on Scotland Street,
Yeah,
he's pulling his, did he pay for 5 taps?
Today?
So,
and he gave you the money, the upfront money there?
yeah,
Now, that money there should be set aside
to go, yeah, we'll keep,
for
we'll tally it
tools,
up.
trucks, or whatever we need for expanding our system.
I need everything.
I know, well, yeah, as we add, project on Lincoln Street, you add the project on Scotland Street, and all there's other subdivisions I see
Yeah.
going, there's another one
Lamp post.
down, by Peter Maroney's house there,
Yeah,
there's a street going in there.
Yeah, he hasn't come in yet. I don't
Yeah,
think.
you're gonna need more people, more trucks,
Lamp
more
post. I don't
tools.
think he's come in yet.
Alan
So,
Jonas,
that's what that
Yeah.
money's supposed to be
Yeah, 'cause he
earmarked
bought it off of,
for.
That's why we keep track.
Bob Lundin.
yeah,
And then we, and then the budget, the operating budget, rate should cover the replacement of it from then on in, but that helps get the thing started, you know? So keep track of that money that he's paid in, because that's a pretty good chunk that he's paying in there on his projects.
yeah, he just paid in phase, I think it's phase 3.
Yeah, probably the ones that are on their own septic
Yeah.
systems.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, those would be the ones, because he doesn't have the other part.
The new dentist office on West Center Street, are they running a sprinkler main in there?
Yes, they are.
What size?
It's a 4-inch.
Well, 4-inch.
Yeah, so he's already paid those fees. Yeah, actually, he's gonna do it tomorrow. Tomorrow.
And what are they doing for domestic?
2-inch. He wanted a 2-inch domestic, so we paid for that too.
Who's that?
So that'll be Dye Construction doing the actual tap work and
Yeah.
I mean,
The new dentist, John Peterson's new dentist office there.
That over by Good.
Oh,
by
yeah,
the
okay,
restaurant,
oh, yeah.
by Daybreak.
Yeah, that's on the same side of the street, that shouldn't be too
Yeah.
bad. What's in front of that building, is that a 6?
I think it's a 6, yeah.
That shouldn't be too bad, he's gotta put a 4 in,
Yeah,
6x4. And that should be cast iron.
yeah, it is.
You'll be there to inspect it?
Yeah.
From the back or
Yeah.
somebody?
Yeah, because we had to dig it up. The old taps that went to the 2 houses were all,
Is he doing a live tap, or is it counted in
yeah,
live tap? Make sure that he thrust blocks underneath it, supports that, or that's old cast, that could snap on you.
yeah. No, I don't want to be out there in the middle of the night.
No.
Yeah, make sure somebody's right there when they're doing it, it's done the way you want it, right?
Yeah,
And thrust block behind.
Especially on that road, you don't wanna be out there fixing it later.
yeah,
And thrust block behind it and support it underneath the
Yeah.
T. Because he's putting when they put that drill on there and that thing starts drilling, you watch, and there's a lot of torque on that. All of a sudden, that cast would snap on you. 6 inches, ain't got much beef in it. That's old.
yeah.
Whenever I see that drill going, and the whole thing's going like that, all right, you got anything, Tom?
Nope.
Good. Okay, so we got our next meeting is July 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion to adjourn, I don't think we did yet.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.